What is going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back again for the second time today. I did the preview earlier, so if you haven't seen that, go and check that out. But I thought I'd get a Norwich perspective from an ex-Leeds United player and ex-Norwich City player. Bradley Johnson, friend of the show. Welcome back, Brad. How's everything going, man?
Yeah, I'm all right, Gage. I'm good. Just cracking on now with the next chapter of my life, my coaching career. But other than that, life's good, man. I'm good. How you been?
Yeah, man, I've been good, just getting through this. Wish that we could have concluded the season at the finishing first or second, but here we are. And as you mentioned there, you've just recently retired. How is retirement treating you? Are you enjoying the extra patty and rice and goat? You know,
yeah, I've enjoyed the food. Maybe a bit too much. No, but it's been good. For me, I knew what I wanted to do next. I knew I wanted to go into coaching. And, I started putting them foundations in while I was playing. So I've done my badges while I was still playing, which has probably helped me now because it's made that transition easy where I've gone straight from retiring straight into coaching. Whereas I know a lot of players finish and then sort of don't know what they're going to do. And then, I need to do my badges now. And then they start doing it and then have that period of time out of the game, which I haven't experienced. But I know players who have my age who find it hard because I said to you before, as players, you're in a routine for 20 years. And to all of a sudden for that to stop, it can be hard. So I think for me, it's been not easy because I still miss football. I'm back at Derby now. I'm doing the under-18s at Derby. I come in at the beginning of the season doing the player coach role for the 21. So I was still playing. And I think that's what made it easier where I've done my badges. I'm doing a little bit of coaching, but I was still playing. I was still training with the boys every day. So, for players, I think if you spoke to any player who retired or retiring, the only thing they miss, well, not the only thing, obviously you miss playing football, but you get old and your body can't do it anymore. But you just miss the environment and the banter and being around the football environment. So, for me, when I come into it, I was still in the building. I'm still winning around the first team. I go and watch them play. I've been and watched them play every home game this year. So I don't miss playing as much, the pressures that come with it. But because I'm still training and still in the routine, I think it's been that little bit easier for me. And, I'm passionate about coaching. When I put my mind to something, I'm passionate about it now. And I want to be the best coach I can be. I've got a lot to learn. And so I'm passionate about passing on my knowledge and my experiences now to these younger generation.
Yeah, man. And listen, there'll be people watching this that will be like, can't believe Bradley Johnson's retiring. Where's time going? Yeah. That's how it is, people, man. Time just moves
and that's
quick.
What I say to these young lads now, because I'm doing meetings with them and like ILPs talking about their future development. And I always say to them, listen, I remember when I was in your shoes. 20 years sounds a long time. I was playing for 20 years, but I remember when I was 18 and 17 and in your shoes, and it flies by. You think it don't, but it does, but it flies by. So I always say to these young guys now, like, make the most of every opportunity you got when you're training, when you're playing. Train and play like it's your last game. Don't take it for granted because it flies by.
Absolutely, yeah. And listen, you've done. You obviously mentioned there you're coaching for Derby, but you've also done some work for BBC Norfolk in terms of Norwich. You've seen them a few times this season.
Yeah.
What would you say their style of play is under David Wagner?
Joe, I've done 2 games for Norwich this year, and my first game I've done for them was when they played Coventry away, and they were going through a sticky sort of situation. And if you asked me then what their style of play is, I wouldn't have told you. And I think many fans would have said that about them as well. They were very inconsistent. I remember the game I think they were 2-0 up or 1-0 up, and they were 1-0 up, and they ended up drawing the game. And that was the riding feeling amongst fans. They're so inconsistent. They'll be good one week and then not so good the next week. And that's football. Teams go through that. But I think towards the end of the season, I watched them at Elland Road when they played Leeds, and you could see a bit of identity back. They were working for each other. They were more structured. I think at Elland Road they sort of had a game plan of soaking up the pressure and then trying to get Leeds on the counter attack. And I think they've done that pretty well in stages. But that's the only time I've watched them play live. I've obviously seen their results come in, but I think they've picked up towards the end of the season. They've got good players like most teams in the league, and it's not so long teams go with such good players. They don't go for a rot for that much time. So it's only a matter of time before they started clicking. And I think they've done that at the right time and you know, got into the playoffs towards the end.
Yeah, man. I remember the Leeds Norwich and you on the commentary because you said we when talking about Norwich. I thought, wow.
Do you know what?
Wow.
Let me explain that. I know. I spoke to you after the game and you hammered me, and I know that. But for me, I'm you know, obviously I've played for both, and you know, I remember doing the Leeds Swansea game 3 weeks before that, and I'm sat with the Leeds journalists and Leeds radio, and they're like, "Oh, Bradley, what do we need to do to get?" And it's just natural for me to say, "Oh yeah, we need to do this, we need to do that." And then when I've done the Leeds game against Norwich, the Norwich reporters, I was with Norwich, they were like, "Oh, Bradley, what do we need to do better?" And it's just natural. It was just hard. And then, you know, when I come off of it and I saw the messages, especially from you, I was like, "Oh man, I didn't mean it like that." It's just for me, you know, I'll get caught up in the game, and you know, if I'm speaking to you about Leeds now, I'll still say we. Like, so
Yeah.
it's just in me, you know. Both clubs mean so much to me, and it was hard.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I understand. I couldn't resist, even though I was like, this guy. What's he
I know
doing?
you did. You were the first to message me. I come out again. I didn't even leave Elland Road, and I looked at my phone, and you were the first one to message me.
Sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of Leeds, from what you've seen this season, I mean, obviously we fell short at the end. We really fell apart after the international break.
Yeah.
That and everything has just gone completely to pot. Style of play, players' form, confidence, everything has gone down. But up until that point, what was it that you saw from Leeds that you enjoyed and thought maybe they could finish top two? Because I know you mentioned to me before Jorginho, Somerville.
Listen, what I saw of Leeds, especially the games that I watched, I was blown away. You know, Somerville, top class. They were on a different level. Rondon, Piero up front. Who's the other one in the attack? What's his name? Oh, I always forget his name.
Joseph?
Rutter. Yeah.
Nonto?
No, Rutter.
Oh yeah, Jorginho Rutter. Yeah.
He's different class, him. And you know, when I was watching them, it felt for me everything was clicking and they were playing so good. And one player I got to mention who blew me away that day was a young lad. That first time I've ever seen him was Archie Gray. He was unbelievable. And that boy's got a big future. But yeah, when I watched Leeds, you know, everything was clicking. You know, they were solid in defence. I think Ampadu maybe was playing centre back or dropping in. Everything was clicking for them. And going forward, you know, Dan James, Somerville on each wing, they were every time they went forward, I thought they was going to score. And then obviously, like you said there, probably after the international break, you know, players probably burnt out or stuff like that. You know, a lot of travelling goes into them international players. And, you know, I don't know, I've not seen much of Leeds towards the end of the season, but you said there, like the form sort of went and stuff. And it is hard. The Championship is a very demanding league. And you know, if you're not at it every week, then you're going to get punished. And I think maybe that's what done Leeds, the players a bit, you know, too many games or too many international breaks where they're travelling a lot. And the expectation as well, you know, for a club like Leeds, the expectation is you got to get promoted. And the players they've got should get promoted.
Well, I want to go on to that actually, because you've played for both. And it's not a question of who's the bigger club. It's not one of those, but just the internal pressure that you feel. Do you feel it more at Leeds than say you did at Norwich City? Is there more expectation?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. And that's not a bad thing. You know, for a player like myself, I enjoyed that pressure. You know, I enjoyed going into Elland Road and, you know, seeing teams come there and the fans getting behind us and seeing their fear in their eyes. You know, that lifted a player like myself. But it can be daunting for these young lads now. You know, it can be pressure and that might get to a few lads. But for me, definitely the expectation at Leeds was much higher. And understandably, you know, they're a massive club. And I'm not going to sit here and say, like you just said there, which is the bigger club, but we all know that Leeds is a massive club and should be in the Premier League. And, you know, they've been there and the fans want that again. So, yeah, the expectation comes with it. And that's what comes with the shirt. And players have got to be big enough and mature enough to be able to handle that.
Because I often say that on the show a lot about the weight of the badge, in that players in other clubs, they thrive in their environments, but I think they like the idea of coming to Leeds. Then once they realize it's a one club city, walk around town, everyone's talking about Leeds. I hope you do well, or you need to do this better. And and you hear it as well in the ground. You know, when things are great, they're great, but when they're tense, oh boy, Elland Road is really intense. And then every misplaced pass gets a Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what?
And
Like you
it
said,
weighs on some
that's what
people.
comes with it, and that's what
Yeah.
comes with it. And you know, I think it's a key point that you said there. People would love to play for Leeds, but they don't realise the expectation before they sign. And that's football. That's part and parcel of football. You got to be able to. We're professional players. We should be able to handle that pressure. But yeah, playing for Leeds for me, I thrived on that pressure and I enjoyed it, and that lifted me. I went into every game at Elland Road. I knew the crowd. If I made that first tackle or first header, you know, that gets the crowd lifted. And you know, once they're behind you, they're behind you. And living in Leeds, you can't get away from football in Leeds. Like you said, there, it's a one club city. You cannot get away from it. When things are going good, it's great because you're living in it. You're in that moment. And obviously, when things are going bad, the fans are entitled to their opinions, and you know that's down to players to lift themselves and play up to their expectations that the fans and they pay their money to come and watch teams, and Leeds is a massive club and they want to be at the top and they deserve to be, and that comes part and parcel of footballers. We've got to deal with that pressure.
And just on a couple of the players that you mentioned Archie Gray. I'm seeing a lot of my Premier League supporting friends talk about nicking him from Leeds, as that always comes with the territory. Everyone gets a spotlight on Leeds when you're a good player here, as you know, and the rest of the people that join Norwich from Leeds. But when you mentioned Somerville as well, if Leeds don't go up, do you think it's extremely hard to keep one or both of these two players?
Yeah, it would be, because they're great players, and again, that's what comes with football. Your best players are always going to attract attention, and it's down to the players to get the club back where it belongs, and then everything will be happy. Like if Leeds go up this season, I'm sure you won't be talking about losing players. Everyone, if Leeds are in the Premier League, every player would want to play for Leeds, and I don't care who you ask, every player would want to play for Leeds in the Premier League. So it's down to the players. Again, it will be hard if they didn't go up, because they are good players and they're going to get interest from everyone. Even if you do go up, they're going to get interest. But it will be hard. But again, they stayed this year, and want to get the club back up, and hopefully they can do that.
And on the Norwich side, because there's a player in particular that I think could probably take the next step, and that's Gabriel Sara, the Brazilian midfielder. How we know how dangerous he is on set pieces, but just in general play, do you like his game?
Yeah, I think I think he's an all-round midfielder. I think he can do everything in midfield. So you get your specialist midfielders who are good in the pockets, or you call them 8s or 10s. I think he can play deeper, he can play higher, and I think when he's on his game, it's no coincidence that Norwich do well. Yeah. So if I was playing against him, it would be one of them players that I'll try and keep quiet. But he's that good of a player that he drifts everywhere. I think he got like a free role in that Norwich team where he can go back and drop deep, go high and join in the attacks. And he's a threat from set plays as well, which is a massive bonus when you have that in your team.
Yeah, and we haven't been too good at defending or attacking set pieces, so that is something to worry about. And hopefully the team's been working on that. So if I could push you for a score prediction, then what do you think for the first leg? We'll just go with the first leg, of course. At Carroll Road.
First leg, man, I don't like predicting. I'm on the fence here. I want both. Listen, whoever wins this semi-final, I want them to go up. So I'm going to both games. I'll be at both games. I'm going there Sunday and I'm coming up on Thursday. I just want to see a good, entertaining game. I hope there's no controversial decisions that sways it for one team. I want to see the best team on the over the two legs who deserve to win, and then go up in the final. So
no more drama. No more drama, Bradley. And listen, that was a very diplomatic answer. I don't know if you're moving into politics after football, but that was very good. Because listen, last time we had a dramatic semi-final, you was actually involved in it. So thank you.
Yeah. And that was a game of emotions, man. But I've never been involved in a game like that. The way it went, swung one way, swung the other way. It was just a game that will never be. I don't think you'll ever see a game like that. And hopefully, like you said, it's not that dramatized over these two legs. As I said to you there, hopefully I want to see the best team over the two legs who deserve to go through. No controversy. The best team on the over the both legs who wins goes through. And then I mean,
it's one of those things, Brad. It can happen at other football clubs, but even you was involved for us against Bristol Rovers. That wasn't plain. It's just it's a Leedsy thing. We call it Leedsy. You know what I mean?
Was that I see something? Was that 14 years ago?
Yeah,
14, wasn't it? 14 years
days ago. Yeah.
Yeah, 14. That's crazy, man.
Mad.
I remember that day like it was yesterday. Again, the emotion of that day. Matt's getting sent off in 25 minutes, then getting 1-0 down, and then Johnny coming on, scoring a goal. Yeah, that day was, again, a day that I won't forget.
And you know what's mad about that? And it shouldn't go unsaid. Howson's goal was really good, but it goes understated because of all the drama and everything that happened after. Again, you know, Howson, I mean, he's still playing now, isn't he? He's Middlesbrough captain.
Yeah, he's doing very well, House.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, I'm going to let you go, but before I go, have you been keeping abreast of the Kendrick versus Drake?
You know what? No, not really, man. I've been too busy.
I thought you might have a winner, man. I thought you might have a winner, which is a shame.
Who's your winner?
Kendrick. Easy.
Really?
Easy money.
I ain't really listened to him, to be fair.
All you have to do is go listen to Not Like Us and
Not Like Us, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's over. But yeah, listen, thank you, Bradley, for joining me. Everybody, if you haven't seen, please like the video. Again, I did a preview earlier for the Norwich Leeds first leg of the semi-final. Go check that out too. Thank you, Bradley, for joining.
No problem. Anytime.
Yeah, man. See you in the next one, people.
Yep. Take care.